Welcome to Thursday, and we are live. BM Boldt is back. Frank Zappa is back. We're doing the Zappa, the Mothers, Roxy, and Elsewhere. So let's get started. This will be great.
Grant is changing the world one track at a time on Grant's Rock Warehouse.
All right, welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and we are live. BM Boldt is in the co-host chair, and our Frank Zappa series continues. I want to welcome Mr. BM Boldt here tonight. How are you? Nice to see you.
Good to be here.
Doing a little chatting prior to this show.
Yeah, I almost missed the start time.
Almost, ladies and gentlemen.
I thought
I almost missed the start time. It would have been like a solo show. I never do solo shows. No one wants to see me yap.
You'd have messaged me like, "Where the hell are you at, man?" I'd have jumped on in a couple minutes. So.
It's all right. We're all good. But anyway, the Frank Zappa series continues, and tonight we're looking at 1974 album Roxy and Elsewhere. Now, this, if you notice in the title, it's Zappa / Mothers. So, I don't know. I never know. What is that, a promo? Looks like a promo.
Yeah, it's just this.
Which version is... Oh, which... Is that the... Which version is that?
This is Barking Pumpkin from 92. So this is, I think, the first release.
Yeah, it's fine.
Of it.
I'm trying to remember. I never got... It came out on Ryko. I never bought the Ryko one. I got the 2012. Was the Ryko... Was it a 2 CD set, or did they get it all on 1 CD?
It's always been one that I'm aware of. It's only, I think, 67 minutes, so it's pretty short for a double.
Yeah, so it can get on there. So we're looking at the 1974 album. It's going to be fun. We love talking Zappa here in the warehouse. It's all about turning you on to stuff. It's all about talking music. So, Byron, how are you? Nice to see you. Let's get started. Let me scroll down. Now, this record, this is in that period of time where Zappa was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
This record actually reached number 27 on the Billboard 200 chart. This album generally among Zappa fans is thought of very highly. One thing that I noticed, now this is one of those records I hadn't heard. So this process is kind of great because I'm hearing a lot of stuff that I hadn't heard before. So this is one of those. The thing that really hit me on the initial listening of this record is that, man, does it sound good for a live album?
Yeah.
Compared to that Flo and Eddie stuff? Well, it's all serious. I mean, this sounds wonderful. You can hear the mix is good. The instruments all pop out. You can hear everything really well because there's a lot going on this album. And this really displays the chops of this current version of the Mothers. You know, You could call this just the Zappa backing band if you want. But my goodness, the chops on this. And just my initial listening, I was thinking, golly, George Duke and Ruth Underwood are the stars of the show here.
Yeah, that and the dual drumming of Chester Thompson and Ralph Humphrey.
Mm-hmm.
And you combine that with Ruth, and there's just a lot of percussion going on this
But
record.
it's like ear candy.
Yeah.
See, that's what I like. This is definitely a headphone album. And it at least as far as me and the way I listen to it in the production in a live album, it seems very intimate to me. I think he was recording this he recorded this at the Roxy, December 73, and he did a couple of other recordings like in Chicago and Pennsylvania. So I'm not sure which is what, but I think
the majority of it's Roxy, very little of it from the other gigs. I started to take notes as to what was what, but I think I stopped doing that. So most of it's Roxy. So
yeah. So anyway, that's a brief intro. Let's throw over Byron. Let's just try to go through the record, and I'll just chime in, and you know how we do it here in the warehouse. So first of all, I want to ask you, how long have you known this for? How long have you had this in your
late 80s?
Late 80s is when you got introduced to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd by the end of the 80s, I had pretty much caught up, and I had everything. I don't have hardly any of the posthumous stuff, but by the late 80s, I had picked up everything. And then it was just a matter of buying things as they came out. So,
oh yeah, I do want to say something before we get started. We just lost Greg Kinn, died at 75 from Alzheimer's, and that is a terrible loss because, my God, he has a lot of great records. Only 2 big hits, but awesome. But I did not know he had. Tyler said he's been battling Alzheimer's for a while. I was unaware of that.
Yeah, same here.
Probably time to do a show on Greg. Might have to do that. Anyway, welcome everybody in the chat before we get going. I kind of forgot everybody was here. I kind of forgot we were live. Brian's here. Brian, how are you? Nice job on the Billy Squire show. Ernesto's just here for beer. Of course he is. Yeah, here we go. Mike, how are you? Nice to see you. Jason, what is happening? Nice to see you here. Ken White. I hope, Ken, you're getting ready for the episode on the hunt.
I'll be glad when that's over with so I can stop hearing about the hunt.
Have you heard any hunt?
I've never listened to him, but I've heard enough about him from Ken and you and him talking about him. So
Mike has some tips for us. Don't drink the yellow snow. Thank you, Mike. Michael Holycross is here. Hey, nice to see you. Logan, don't you ever wash that thing? No way. I keep it. Actually, I do wash it quite a bit. Everything's clean here in the warehouse. It's a clean warehouse. Who else is here? Chuck, nice to see you.
I see the missus commented.
Oh, where? Oh, wait, everybody's talking. Sean Barnes is here. Ken White, the hunt is awesome. We're just going to keep mentioning the hunt the whole show so Byron just goes crazy. Maybe he'll start drooling or something.
No.
Mike is drinking Hawaiian punch. Oh, for goodness sakes. You know, I do like a good Hawaiian punch. I haven't had one in years, but it's always a refreshing drink. Well, there she is. Okay. I have no Mrs. BM Boldt. Let's highlight this particular comment. I have no opinion about this album, but it's BM's birthday tomorrow, and this is his last show in his 50s. Wow.
Sad.
Look at how she just had to throw that out there.
Yeah. She's married to an old man. That's all I can say.
Well, everybody in the chat, wish Mr. BM Boldt a happy birthday because tomorrow is his birthday. So please wish him a happy birthday. If I could be there, I would be out with you tomorrow celebrating. Yeah. Actually, that would be fun.
Be a good time.
I'll get out there sometime. I don't know. I tried to go out to see Matthew Sweet, but it just wasn't going to happen. The plane tickets were too high, and God, there's no direct flights from Central Ohio to where you are.
No, well, I mean, out of Cincinnati. Cleveland.
A lot of work.
Oh, not Columbus.
Here you go. Happy birthday. I know we should be starting the show, but we're now having a birthday celebration.
Yep. I appreciate it, everybody.
Happy birthday. It's always good. All right, Ernesto. There you go. Jason, check out Dillinger. Those are 2 prog albums the Hunt dudes did a few years earlier. Ken, I know we're doing Zappa, but hold on. It's all about talking music, you know. Yeah, we have a topic.
I'll come back when you're done talking about the Hunt.
Come back, Byron. We'll be done talking about the Hunt. I know it's Zappa, everybody, but we're doing a live show and it's about music. Ken, the Dillinger did put out 2 albums. And what years did those come out? Because I haven't even looked for them. I'm interested to see what those sound like. Let me know in the comments. DC, happy birthday, Byron. Won't be able to comment much. Grandkids. Well, DC, I sent you a message. I need you to respond. We've got business. We've got work to do. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So, Ken, let me know about Dillinger down below. Anyway, let's get started. Around the mid-70s. Okay. But did they put out anything like on a major label? Because I'm going to have to go down that road. Because this, I know the artwork kind of sucks. But my God, is this a killer record. Holy crap. Third Hunt album. Killer. Second one's, I don't know. I don't find the second one as intriguing as the other ones. But I don't know. It could change. I don't have my ranking done yet. I'm still making my notes, so we'll see. It should be fun. Hopefully, Pete is healthy enough for it, and we'll be able to do it. Chuck said, "I ate a hot dog and it tasted real good."
Then he watched the
Nice.
movie from Hollywood.
Yeah. Nathan, how are you? Nice to see you. I think everybody's here enough. We've got enough people that we can continue the show. Let's roll. So start us out there, Byron. Talk a little bit about the record. You know how we do it. Go ahead. I'm turning the reins over to you.
So technically, this was Frank's 19th album. Wow. So this is the 19th one we've covered, probably. And you mentioned it was
we've done 19 of these. Jesus. All right.
It was recorded December 8th to 10th of 73 and May 8th and the 11th of 1974. You said it was recorded mostly at the Roxy, some Edinburgh State College in Pennsylvania, the Auditorium Theater in Chicago. They said most of the tracks were recorded at the Roxy with a few overdubs here and there. And there was a quad version made, but it was never released. There's an album called Roxy by Proxy, which is stuff that didn't make it onto this album, which came out about 10 years ago. And then there's the 6 or 7 CD set called the Roxy Performances, which I don't think I've ever really dug into that.
I've never went into that. Usually when we're on these shows, ladies and gentlemen, we're just talking about those original core records. But seriously, if you know about those other Zappa releases, talk about them we do want to hear about it. So leave a comment.
There was also released, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe, Roxy the movie, which you need to see that. A lot of that material on there is on this album. There's a few things on the movie that aren't on the album. And in some situations, I'd rather watch the video than listen to the album. I'll mention that later.
Okay.
But,
cool.
Anyway, so yeah, we got Frank again in the band. Of course, it's his band. Jeff Simmons makes an appearance. He was in the earlier Mothers, the Flo and Eddie period for a while. I think this is the first time Napoleon Murphy Brock has made it onto a Zappa album. You know, he's singing and playing some saxophone. George Duke, like you said.
Ruth Underwood.
Yeah, Don
Chester
Preston
Thompson
is listed on here, but I think it might have been some studio stuff because he's not on the concert that I recall. Got the Fowler brothers, Bruce and Walt. Tom's the bass player, I believe. Bruce trombone, and Walt, he's not on the video, but apparently he's got some credits on here. Ralph Humphreys, Chester Thompson, like I said, Ruth, and the Ikettes do some overdubs, especially on Cheapness, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Super.
And they had been on the prior 2 studio albums. Okay, the CDs are all the same basically as the vinyl, is what I understand. There's not like a bunch of futzing around that Frank did like on the other CDs. This is supposedly matches the vinyl. However, some versions of the CD have a remix of Cheapness.
Ryko's?
It's confusing. And it's kind of hard to tell. You really got to listen close. I think the drums are kind of mixed differently and the guitar is a little different. I don't know for sure what version I have on here, if it's the remix or the original. All of my notes say is that some CDs have a remix of Cheapness, and it's hard to pinpoint what it is. You just got to hear it. And it sounds quite different if you really are familiar with it. Let's see. Like it's a live album, like you mentioned, and it's mostly new material. There are a couple things on here that had been released in prior albums, and typically on the beginning of each side, Frank has like a preamble where he talks about the song that they're going to play, and then so that's it. We can get into the tracks now. I'm going to take a quick.
Yeah. Please do. At your age, you've got to.
You got to stay
It's
hydrated.
moderation. You got to keep hydrated. Got to keep those
Right.
joints lubricated, Byron.
Okay, so let's get into the tracks here.
Yeah.
First track, Penguin in Bondage, 6 minutes and 47 seconds. It starts out with Frank giving his preamble, and he's talking about it's kind of like he's talking about like bondage and sex toys, but he's talking about it in a very PC manner. It seems like so he can get it onto the record. It's more of a blues track. Frank does the singing, and there's some horns here and there in it. This song was actually the Roxy and Chicago shows edited together. It's got a pretty good guitar solo, about a 2-minute guitar solo in the middle of it where Frank's playing a wah pedal. What do you think of that one?
I like it. I think Frank's guitar work on here is freaking incredible. Some of his best soloing. And like that I said, I already talked about the sound quality. I think it's unbelievable. But it's kind of bluesy, it's very complex in structure, I think. But Frank's guitar solos and Ruth Underwood, I know you're going to hear a lot of me about Ruth Underwood. And I do think she's one of the stars on this record. Her work is absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. But, of course, the lyrics have a lot of double entendres and surreal imagery, satirical. It's typical Zappa. But, my God, this is a great track. And what a way to start off this album. Now, I don't know if this was this the opening track on the series?
It's not on the video. I know that. So,
brilliant.
The video started with Cosmic Debris, so they kind of jump into this after that.
Yeah, I'm going to be all giddy on this show, Byron, because I think this record's, how I am with this stuff. I'm going to tell you how I feel, and I think this is absolutely a brilliant live record. I'm not even holding back. Anyway, keep going. Go on to track 2.
Next track is Pygmy Twilight. It's a pretty short song at 2:13.
Yeah.
It's a real fast, heavy riff-based song. Pretty darn catchy. You get the guitar and the horns that are kind of playing the same riff simultaneously. And you get Napoleon Murphy Brock and George singing on here. This is the first time we've heard Napoleon doing any vocals. It's a pretty good track. It's kind of a little too short, though.
Yeah, it is short, but it's faster pace, so it gives the illusion that it is short, but it goes pretty quickly. It's very tight. We've got a lot of rapid tempo changes here, and it blends rock and jazz perfectly. Frank's guitar lines on here. Let's talk a little bit about Frank. Very intricate guitar lines. A lot of rhythm changes. This isn't a listening experience. You really have to pay attention to this song because it goes all over the place. It's a fun listen. This is a headphone album. I swear to God, absolutely stunning. But it has a lot of dynamic energy. It just shows that this particular band, you'll probably agree with me. Heck, everybody in the chat may agree with me. This particular band, this gig was on fire. Right?
Yeah, if you go to the You Can't Do That on Stage box set, which is 12 CDs, there's the Helsinki concert from this band. It's really good. It's like 2-hour show. So it's definitely something you want to check out. It's a lot longer than this, almost twice the length of this album. But so the side 1 ends with Dummy Up, which is 6 minutes.
We should say that this is also a 2-record set. So if you haven't got the vinyl, so it is a 2-record set.
So Dummy Up is like 6 minutes. I could take or leave this track, really, though, to be honest with you. It's just kind of a long vamp with Napoleon doing some improvising where he's like walking down the street and he bumps into Jeff Simmons, and Jeff acts like he's a drug dealer, and he's trying to get Napoleon stoned on smoking a high school diploma because you get nothing with your high school diploma. It's okay. They do a similar deal on the Helsinki show, but it's about the hotel room they were staying in. That they're going to smoke the towels or something. This could have been left off. I could care less.
Okay. And you know how I feel about these theatrical things. During that whole Flo and Eddie, it was all theatrical. This is kind of like that too. I would say that this is probably, so far, the low point. It's okay. But man, you have to, it's more, because this is more of a performance piece, if I could say it. This is a performance piece more than a traditional song.
Frank was known for this kind of stuff. Even in the original Mothers, they would do kind of things like this live, and Flo and Eddie, they do some things similar. It's the low point of the album to me, but
Right.
yeah.
But it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
So that ends side 1. Side 2 starts off with the Village of the Sun.
Oh yeah. So once again, we get a Zappa preamble where he's going to introduce the song, and this was like 4 minutes and 15 seconds. It's just a very accessible track, kind of mid-tempo, and Napoleon's singing on it, and it's a song about the area where Frank grew up in California, kind of in the middle of nowhere. But Palmdale, it's kind of like it's in the desert, but they raise turkeys there apparently, and so the song's about that place. And so Napoleon's just singing a song that's like affectionately singing about going back to visit Palmdale, seeing your old friends, and and talking about how it stinks so bad, just from all the turkeys and whatnot. But it's a really good song. If anything could have been a single on here, it could have been this.
Well, this is one of the more smoother tracks, and like you said, it's much more nostalgic about his childhood. Mojave Desert. This is from the time when he was hanging out with Captain Beefheart, because didn't Captain Beefheart live in the Mojave Desert?
Yeah, they grew up in Lancaster, which is in the desert. I think it's close to one of those Air Force bases, Langley maybe. I don't remember, one of the bases there. It's in the middle of the desert. And, Frank's dad was a military contractor. And,
Go ahead, but this is, like you said, this is much more smoother, more accessible. What do you think of the vocals from Napoleon?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's a real catchy track. Could have possibly been a single. I mean, it's not going to be a single because of the Zappa and the theme, but it sounds great. His voice sounds really good on it. It's got a real commercial sound to it, in my opinion, without being a sellout, of course. But yeah, I like it.
I gotta make a comment. Gary Joyce, he said, as sick as Pete was, he came off his sick bed to tell off a guy who called me cringe. Pete had my back. Gary, was it the other guy that hates my guts over there? Probably the same guy. Probably hates you and hates me. You got to be careful when you go over there and see a Tranquility. It's a different world.
They get a lot more trolls than you get.
Knock on wood, I don't get any trolls at all. Everybody here's a much different. I know we're on a tangent, but I got to address that. See a Tranquility gets a lot more trolls, but there's a lot more subscribers. I don't get that. Everybody here who comes and comments is all very supportive. I've probably, over my course of 2.5 years, I probably only had to block one person, and that guy was kind of snooty in the beginning. But everybody here, it's like a different world. I don't know why. It's like going over to Rachel's channel, and it's brutal. I'm lucky. The Warehouse has been very lucky, knock on wood. But there is a guy over there that calls me Mr. Wikipedia or something. He's an asshole. If he only knew, this isn't Wikipedia. But he doesn't like me. But that's all right. That's a whole other tangent. All right. So we talked about Village of the Sun. What about track 5?
I notice you don't want to try and pronounce it, but
I'm not going to even attempt it.
Echidna's R of you is the way I would.
Echidna?
Echidna's R for you? Yeah.
I'm not even.
That's how I'm going with it. 353. Okay, I'm going to come right out and say it. This is one of my favorite Zappa songs.
It's great. Go ahead.
It's an extremely complex instrumental, but at the same time, it's got this real catchiness to it. I mean, I just want to tap my toes to it,
It's a toe tap.
And it's got a lot of horns, the marimbas, the keyboards. It's just insane. The interplay between all that. It's got various changes in it. The last 45 seconds of this thing is just them just playing these scales simultaneously, and just keeps going and going and going. And at this ridiculous pace, it's just, you were talking about how good they sound and how tight they are. This song is the epitome of that. They are just tight. I don't know how they can play this live.
I don't know how they could. This is very demanding, very intricate, rapid tempo changes in this track.
Yeah.
Intricate time signatures. It is tight. The band, I'm telling you, this is a machine.
Yeah.
You know, the wind instruments, the percussion, it's wonderful. I'm with you. This is one of my favorite tracks on the record. This really shows off the skills of the band. But it's also one of Zappa's more, how do I want to say it? I don't want to use avant-garde. Well, I guess I could use avant-garde. This isn't quite as accessible as some of his other tracks. This is really pushing it. But highly recommend that. If you don't even listen to this record, at least check out this track.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
But it's not out there like, well, the last song on this album's kind of out there as far as this I can at least tap my toes to and be like, yes, you know.
Yeah.
But I love that track, and that jumps right into the next track. I mean, it just segues right into it. What are you going to say?
I want to say this while I'm thinking about it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but the chat is going crazy, and this is one thing why I like the live shows. I haven't put this up yet, but I wanted to let everyone know in case you're interested. On Friday, let's see now, Friday, August 30th. I haven't made an announcement yet, but young Logan had made this comment like, Grant, why don't you do the Friday night chats anymore? Well, the reason is that I used to do Friday night chats. Then I started doing listening parties. I know I'm all over the place, but if I don't keep my train of thought, I'll forget. So we will be doing, I haven't even worked on the graphics or put it out, but I'll announce it. Friday the 30th, we're going to do a Friday night chat. So anybody here in the chat that wants to come on, shoot the shit, the whole thing will be open. I'll have links up. Anybody who wants to come on and just talk music, we're going to do that on Friday. I think the last one I did, the last time I did a Friday night chat, Byron, what was that, like a year? It had been a long time.
It's been a while. That's how I got my start on here. I came on with you, and it was just you and me for a while, and then Todd jumped on.
Yeah. So we'll be doing, I'm going to start doing them again once a month because there's been a lot of new people on the channel, and it's nice to get to know everybody even more because the way I look at this, and Byron knows it, this is a community. We're all in this together. So now that I got through that, there was something else in here that I saw that I needed to make a response to. Okay. Ken, this is it. SOT in the Warehouse are for real rock and rollers, no trolls. The other thing I want to say is I know we have fun on this channel. Maybe this isn't the time to do it, but hell, what the hell? It's my channel. The way I look at it, I look at this as a real serious music channel. I'm not out to do thumbnails where I'm going to try to, hey, this band sounds like dog shit to get more clicks. We try to look at all these bands, these artists. We're all about trying to turn you on to stuff. And I'm not going to do clickbaity crap. I don't think that that's serious.
Except for Wall Punchers.
Wall Punchers is just fun. Yeah, but it's different.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know.
We should do that again.
I try, and I know Pete's the same way. We're serious. And the Contrarians, we are serious music channels. We're not clickbaity kind of things. And, I mean, I'm not going to make it a bazillion subscribers, probably because I don't do that, but I try to consider myself fairly serious. So I appreciate everybody here, and I do appreciate everybody in the comments. I know I've went on a tangent, but Friday night chat will be coming up on the 30th. So mark that on your calendar. We hope we can get you in here and we can shoot the shit. So letting you know. All right. Sorry.
Although the worst thing you ever did was let me in on a Friday night chat. Now you can't get rid of me. So.
No, see, some people get on this Friday night chat and they never leave.
Yep.
So it'll be fun because it's Ernesto. Well, it's all about the content 100%. Oh, look. Thanks, Michael. You have integrity. Well, I don't know. I am a stylish dresser, but other than that, I don't know if I have integrity. Stick with the good bands because there's so many out there to discover. Exactly, Ken. Look at that. We turned Pete onto the hunt, and Pete loves the hunt, and now we're going to talk the hunt. Can you believe that? See, it's how it works. We're like a community. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, sorry, Byron, but
All
we're
right,
keeping it loose. Go
get
ahead.
back to it. So we were just talking about Etchna's Art of You. That was such a great instrumental. And that segues right into Don't You Ever Watch That Thing, which is 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Like I said, it just picks up right up where the prior song left off. It's a jazzy instrumental. It's a little more laid back than the prior track at times, but it's got a real nice trombone solo by Bruce and a good synth solo by George. And I'm telling you, the drumming on this track between Ralph and Chester, they both take like a solo. Sometimes they're playing simultaneously the same thing, and sometimes they're not. And you get some Ruth here and there sprinkled in, and then you've got a guitar solo by Frank. It's long, but it really moves pretty fast. So it's great. This side is just probably the best side on the album. Go ahead.
I think it's great. What do you think about that drum solo by Chester Thompson?
Yeah. Well, I don't know who's necessarily who unless I'm watching.
I think it's Chester. Sounds like Chester. This blends a lot of jazz and rock. It's funky, and it does provide a good drop. It provides a good backdrop for all these solos. It's a wonderful track. It's great. And can this band, the improvisation on this track is incredible because all these guys, all these men and women are excellent players. Absolutely great. It's great. All right, let's go on to side 3.
When I rewatched some of the Roxy the movie today, and especially during this track, there's an even longer drum section, percussion section, where Ralph gets up and he's playing some of the marimba while Ruth's doing some other things. So just the percussion on it was just great.
It's phenomenal. I wish I could bitch about this record, but I love it. I've loved this whole period since we got rid of Flo and Eddie. I've been taken by this whole period. And I told everybody before when we did this series that I was primarily an original Mothers of Invention guy. I thought all that stuff's absolutely brilliant. And I never got so much into this later era. This is one of those records I hadn't heard. And I love it. I almost love this just as much as we're only in it for the money. Well, that's a pretty strong statement. But the first album, I'll go with that. Look, Gary Wilkerson Jr.'s here. Here he is. Gary's here to talk some Zappa.
The musicianship on these albums is far superior to the early Mothers, but the early Mothers have this thing about them with the political statements they were making and the statements about the times, the whole hippie culture. But musically, you can't top this period. All right, so we're on to side 3 now.
Side 3. So first track, Cheapness. If I had my glasses on, it would help.
Okay, so yeah, this one's 6.5 minutes. And I had mentioned how, depending on which CD version you have, you may have a remix of this.
I don't think it takes
the same. It's just remixed a little differently. But so Frank has another preamble here where he's talking about how he loves low budget monster movies, and so it's kind of building up to the song. So the song itself is a tribute to low budget monster movies, and it's about a giant poodle named Frenabulax. Frank liked to talk about poodles. It's kind
he
of
loves poodles.
Conceptual continuity, which we've mentioned in the past. This is a really good song too. I mean, he's like somebody had mentioned, that hot dog tastes real good. Then I watched a movie from Hollywood, and you can hear the iCats going, yum, 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 yum. And so this definitely has a lot of overdubs in it where the other stuff on the album for the most part does not. But yeah, it's just a really good song. So go ahead.
Humorous. Yeah, it's about low budget monster movies. Very fast paced. This is pretty much a rock song, but again, we've got intricate arrangements. And it's very playful. The tone matches the lyrics. It's fun. It's, Zappa loves pulp culture. Every album, every track damn near talks about that. but it's very musically sophisticated. When I listen to it, it's a wonderful track. Again, I'm just gonna I haven't found anything to really complain about on this record. I think it's wonderful.
Well, you didn't really like Dummy Up that much.
Well, only because I don't like those theatrical things.
Yeah, I know.
But
other than that,
okay.
Every song's been a winner, right?
Everything's, but as far as theatrical tracks go, I can bear that one. You know, compared the Flo and Eddie stuff, I just cringe. And I wanted to like it so much. And, you know, I love the Turtles. I love Flo and Eddie. I don't like Flo and Eddie and Zappa. That's the only thing. I just don't.
Any of the Flo and Eddie solo albums or not? I don't know if we've.
I've got the first Moving Targets on vinyl. I think I got that for $1 in the dollar bin.
I'm sure you did.
I know I say that all the time. I'm pretty sure it was $1. But yeah, I've got that. I can't comment. It's been years since I played it. But when I played it, I don't think it really did anything for me, if I recall right. I might not recall. I might break it out again. I'll have to report back. All right. So we're what track 5?
Second song on side 3, Son of Orange County. Okay, 5 minutes 53 seconds. Okay, so there was a track. What was that on? Was that on Weasels? It was called
actually,
Orange County Lumber Truck.
Track 8. God,
yeah, track 8.
Yeah.
There was a song on Weasels Rip My Flesh called Orange County Lumber Truck, which is a really nice instrumental. So this is called Son of Orange County. Frank was big on doing son of songs, so like sequels. But this is really a slow version of Oh No, which was on Weasels already as well, but it was right before Orange County Lumber Truck. So it went from Oh No, and that segued into the Orange County Lumber Truck. And Oh No, well, wasn't Oh No also on? I want to say it might have even been on one of the earlier on Mother's albums, but I could be wrong. But Oh No, I Don't Believe It. You know, I think it might have been. I'd have to go back and check.
Okay.
But this is a very slow version of that track, and I believe this one's an instrumental. It's got a real long guitar solo. At the very end of it, we get a little bit of the melody for the Orange County Lumber Truck. So there you go.
Well, what did I write about this track? Well, this is more laid back. It's more bluesy. You know, it's one of those songs where, you know, he's critiquing political figures, you know, jab at Nixon. It was of that time. I get it.
So this did have lyrics? I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So, yeah, it talks about Nixon pretty much. You know, it's a political commentary. But you mentioned Zappa's playing. I think this is some of his best playing on this song. Zappa's cooking them during this period, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Well, some of his things, okay.
Early on.
I've heard some stuff when Steve Vai was in the band, and you know how brilliant Steve Vai was. Steve Vai could outplay anybody. And Zappa would play the solo, but then some of his solos just seemed to be so spontaneous that they just didn't really make any sense. Just kind of like a entanglement of notes, where Steve Vai could just probably come up with something and just absolutely kill. I never understood why Frank was playing so many solos and Steve Vai didn't. Never understood that. You have Steve Vai in the band, you just let Steve go. Wind him up and let him go. Whatever. That's another tangent. But it's okay. It's a good track. It's all right. 5 minutes, 53 seconds.
Yeah.
All right. More Trouble Every Day. Track number 9.
So this last track on side 3, it comes in at 6 minutes. So this was on the first Freak Out album, Trouble Every Day. So basically they're just redoing it again. But this is way different than the version on the Freak Out album. This is a lot slower, and it's more of a blues track, and it doesn't really have any kind of a psychedelic feel like the first version did. I like it a lot. So, any thoughts?
Plenty. Yeah, this is a reworking of Trouble Every Day from Freak Out. Original blues rock structure, updating the lyrics and arrangement. This song talks about social unrest. Uh, we were still in the mid 70s, early 70s. There's still a lot of social unrest. It was basically brought over from the 60s. It's still going on, but I think it's one of his more powerful, enduring, protest songs. It's fine. I'm not really a protest song kind of guy or a political song kind of guy. But again, I think it works. I think it's okay. It doesn't bother me. So
Yeah, I got no problem with side 3 at all.
no, I think everything, the sequencing's good. Everything's flows. I have no complaints.
Okay, so let's go to side 4. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, because side 4 is one song.
One song, the Bebop Tango, and it's 16 minutes and 41 seconds. So, like every other side on the album, there's a preamble. And this one starts with Frank talking about basically the history of tango. And, how young people would do it because they couldn't really have any other way they could dance with each other and kind of get close. And that was the best way to get close back in those days. But to me, this doesn't really sound like bebop or a tango, maybe in little parts here or there, but it is musically chaotic and complex.
This is very avant-garde. I mean, it's a good mix of jazz, rock, and avant-garde. Put them all in a bowl, mix them up, you get this track.
Yeah.
The way I look at it.
When Frank's getting ready to count it off, he says, okay, let's don't play this too fast because this one's really hard to play, and they wanted to get it just right.
But I like that. That intrigues me because obviously, they were able to pull it off, but you're sitting there listening to it as a listener going, wow, this must be something. If you haven't heard the track, you're going, wow, what's in store for me? And then when it hits you, it just hits you with all the force and just hits you right in the face. It's just, this track is pretty nuts, to be quite honest.
Yeah. It's not like a tango. I mean, like I said, you can't dance to this for the most part. Well, we're going to get to that. You really can't dance to this.
You can dance to it, Byron.
But like at times, it's like free jazz at times.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some crazy bass playing going on here by Bruce. Is it Bruce? Or Tom Fowler. He's got some crazy playing going on. You get a nice trombone solo by Bruce. Then you get to this section where George starts doing like this bebop singing and playing. So he's like, this is bebop, although it doesn't sound like it.
That sounds like a really good.
And he keeps playing stuff like that, So he's like singing the note. He's playing the notes that he's singing, and it's just this real oddball bebop. They say it's a twisted tango melody in there, but I don't really hear it. But so at some point, then they decide, okay, let's bring on some members of the audience to try and dance to the notes that George is playing and singing. And there's like this vamp going on, but you're not going to dance to the vamp. You're going to dance to the notes that George is singing and playing. So they bring on these people, and some of them struggle with it. And they bring on this other girl, and she's doing it pretty well. And then Frank's like, okay, now we're going to bring out, I don't remember what her name was. She was a stripper. She had just been working at some Air Force base doing a show.
That made me chuckle.
But okay, I'm going to come right out and say it. You need to watch. This is on the Roxy movie. It's way more interesting because you get to see the people coming onto the stage and they're doing the dancing, and the stripper comes out. Well, she's wearing a bikini, but so she's not naked or anything. But you get to see all these people, and they're actually trying to dance to this. And, there's all these people on the stage. And then the song ends, the last couple minutes, it breaks into like this blues shuffle. And Frank's got like a little bit of a guitar solo. Napoleon's doing a little bit of singing. And that basically is the end of the album. So let's hear your thoughts on that, Grant.
Well, like I said, this definitely is a combination of jazz, rock, avant-garde, very complex rhythm patterns, very unusual chord progressions. This is an exercise to this is really a band exercise to really show what kind of chops they had during this period. And I like it when, you know what, it's kind of, I like it when Frank goes out to the audience and wants audience participation. I like he has that
He was big
interaction
on
with
that.
this. It's fun. It's not like that other, for some reason, it seems very down to earth to me. You can tell that Zappa appreciated his fan base. You know, do a little action with the audience. I loved it. But like I said, it's most challenging, very experimental. And I think, what a way to end this record. Show me a better way to end it. Beautiful, absolutely stunning. Because when you're done, you listen to this record and it's just taking your breath away. The way I think I'm sorry, I think it's wonderful. I love it.
It's better on the video.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen
Really
it.
is.
Look, okay, I believe you.
Because it kind of drags out a little bit. I like it, but it does drag out a little bit. And you don't really get to see the people dancing. And that's part of the charm of the song. But anyway.
DC, I know you went to Peaches. National Record Mart, Music Land, Buzzard's Nest was in Columbus on Morse Road. Remember Peaches was across the street? I know Peaches was the best. And like I said, I think there was a Peaches in Atlanta. I don't know when it closed, but there was a Peaches in Atlanta once. There was a Peaches in
we had one.
Tampa. The one in Columbus is on Morse Road. And that's the one, because when I was a kid, I know I'm on a tangent, but damn it, it's my show. When I was a kid, 13, I would beg my parents because I couldn't drive. I don't even know how I got money to buy records, but I did. And I would.
Drugs.
Yeah. Are we ever going to go to Columbus? Are we ever going to go visit my uncle in Worthington? Because if we do, I'd really like for you to take me to Peaches, because I'd go in there and just absolutely just cream myself practically, because it was so big. They had everything. They had the best cutout section on the planet. Now, a lot of people say that Tower was the greatest. We didn't have a Tower in Columbus, Ohio. But Peaches had the best cutout section. They had the best import section. You'll never see that again. Those days are gone, and boy, do how I miss it. Oh, don't get me started.
Those cutout sections, man. I'm telling
I
you.
loved it. You could get so much great stuff. You know, remember Hot Space? There's a shitload of them. Queen Jazz. There were so many records.
Big Star albums.
I told that story when I was a kid at Bargain City. I was like 5, and I was going because I was record crazy. I was looking for Disney records, flipping through the bins, and I came across a stack of Big Star. The first was it the first one? No, it's the second album. Like a stack of them like that in the bins. 50 cents. All cutouts. Big stack. No one cared about them. Oh, was it, you know. All right, I'm on a tangent. Anyway, I think this record is a masterclass in live performance. This is the high bar for Zappa and the band, I think. Now, we haven't looked at anything, but I'm talking this is the highest bar yet for, 1974, let's say that. Very proficient technically, and it's just, you have to agree that Zappa during this era, I'm not talking Flo and Eddie, post Flo and Eddie, he's really on a period of high creativity, great musicians in the bands. Some of the best stuff I've heard so far. I don't listen to the original Mothers for musicianship. I think what the original Mothers brought was a very unique place and time that, Zappa was writing some of his best stuff. It was wacky. It was kind of out there, but most of that stuff is very accessible. And there were some great melodies on a lot of those tracks. It's a different world though, but we're not talking about that. We've already talked about those. Check those down below. But I think it's one of his best live recordings so far. It sounds wonderful. The band's great. If I was going to, I don't know if I could rate, what would I rate it? We're only in for the money's a 10. So I'm basing that out of the best thing ever. But I think I could give this a 9 out of 10. For a live record, that's pretty good.
It's not bad.
What do you think?
I'm going 8.5 tonight
All right.
because taking off a half because of Bebop Tango.
Right.
It's a little much for me without the video, but
I kind of
what's that? The track on side one. I don't care for it. The Dummy Up.
yeah. Well, I
8.5.
kind of look at it this way. I'm looking at this like on a scale just for live albums. You know, it's hard to rank this with his studio catalog because this is a different animal. This is a live album, but I mean, as far as live albums go, you're looking at a lot of the best live albums ever. I think this is up there because it checks all those boxes. Now, if you really look at it with the rest of his, I don't know. I guess I could give it a strong 8 if you're going to put it in there with studio albums. But as a live album, a solid 9. It's right up there. I could see why this hit the top 40. You know, totally understand it. Zappa was hot during this period, you know, and we haven't gotten to that far, but I'm not exactly sure when he started to sell less and less. I'm sure we'll get to that. I really can't.
He gets another rebound, I think, in the late 70s.
Well, he gets another rebound with Valley Girl.
Yeah, I don't even know. We'll figure that out as we get to those other albums. I think we're going to see a little bit of a dip here, and I think you'll see a little bit of a comeback a couple times in the late 70s and early 80s. But yeah, I don't think he ever eclipses this period, though. Really.
Didn't even do. Let me do our averages real quick. I got Contrarians today, but I got time here. Let's get everybody's score like we always do. So, Byron, you gave an 8.5.
Yeah.
All right, I gave it a 9. I'll go with my 9. Let's.
Ken 8.5.
Okay, wait a minute. I'll go with 9. We got 8.5. Okay.
8.75.
Webb's got a 8.75. All right. Let's see. Anybody else? Gary.
I don't know if I've seen any others. Maybe
8.0. Did I already put that one in? I don't know. We'll see. So. Jeff says 8.5. Got a 8.5. All right. Anybody else have any? What would you rate this record? Anybody else?
Mike a 7.
Oh, look at that. The Count's in the house. Hey, the Count and I have a listening party planned. Who better to do metal than the Count? I've got the Count booked September. We're going to do a listening party. So people wanted the Count, and I said, well, let's bring the Count on. And I was able to book the Count. The Count's very busy. You know, he is. You've got to get him. And I was able to book him in September. Mike gives it a 7.0. I know it is. Well, I'm using a computer. You know, I can't tally that. I can barely think. I think we probably have enough. I think that's it. All right. So I got everybody's tally. Let's calculate. Oh, the Count does rule. There he is, the Count. You know, and after the show, we're gonna meet out back and have an autograph signing session. So come to the warehouse and we'll be out back and the Count will sign anything you want. Of course, his signature is like $20 a pop, but he'll be glad to sign anything that you have. So anyway, what do we get? Our calculations, we have, we come up with an 8.3. I think what I had. There you go. I think it's good. I'm going to give this the Warehaus stamp of approval. You know, I've got to build a graphic. I just thought about that, where it comes down and goes, bang, approved right on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to write that down. I'll see if I can build something like that. But anyway, so there you go. It's 7:56. We went an hour. Mr. Boldt, we can shut this dog down. Would this be a record we can recommend?
Yes.
Hell yes. Go out and do yourself a favor. If you haven't bought it, you haven't heard it, go out and check it out. It's a wonderful record. Wonderful record. God. I just love it. So we all know that because I rated it a damn 9. All right, everybody. We'll see ya. What's next in the warehouse? Well, tomorrow at 7:00 p.m. we will be premiering the ranking of the Fix. That's with Stephen Schnee. That's coming up. And then, of course, hopefully, if Pete's okay, we'll be doing the hunt on Sunday. The listening party on Sunday night at 8 p.m. We will be doing 1970s. Rachel's Ghost will be the guest. She'll be here. Ladies and gentlemen, the warehouse is on fire.
You got 1982 on Monday night as well.
Monday night we'll be live at 8 p.m. talking 1982, our top 10 favorite tracks. The warehouse is busy. We should have a warehouse sale. If Logan would get aisle 17 cleaned up, we could, but he's slacking. He's busy. All right, everybody, we'll see you. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks, everybody, for giving your rating. It's fun. The warehouse is where it is, and we're keeping it real in the feel. Byron, we'll see you. Keep it real, and we have a listening party coming up too.
Yeah, we're gonna do one
end of August, I think.
25th, I think, and it's gonna be Grant and I play whatever the hell we want. There's no theme. We're just gonna pull out songs out of our butt.
It'll be my birthday. Hell, we might as well celebrate your birthday.
It's gonna be a birthday.
Our birthday's at the end of the month anyway, so we'll just do a celebration, and we're just gonna, because it's our birthdays in this month, we're just gonna pull out all the stops and play some shit we want to turn you on to. So that's what we'll be doing at the end of the month. Stay tuned. Oh, and the Friday night chat will be the night before on Friday. Night before. Well, listening party Sunday, Friday night chat on Friday. Look forward to that. We'll see you there. Hopefully everybody can pop in and we can have a discussion. All right, everybody. See ya. Keep it real and keep it clean.